Hello everyone and welcome to Fatma Sami's channel. Today's video is for the 8th grade semester 1. We're gonna do some exercises on Unit 2 class book. Unit 2 Creature Features. Exercise number 1. A delicate balance. Everything in the environment is connected. Sometimes the balance gets upset. Look at the food web and complete the sentences on page 13 of your skills book. This is the food web, where each animal feeds on another one. Exercise number 2. Read Raya's report. Raya has been finding out about the balance of nature. Read the report she wrote for the ITC newsletter. Number 1. Do you know that the environment exists in a delicate balance? It's very easy to upset the balance and cause terrible results. Here's my report about how one man upset the balance of nature in Australia. Number 2. In 1859, Thomas Austin took 24 wild rabbits from England to Australia and released them on his land. Most sportsmen thought it was a very good idea because they liked shooting the rabbits in their free time. Number 3. The rabbit population grew and grew. After 6 years, Austin had killed 20,000, but he still had 10,000 left. There were so many rabbits that one man shot 1,200 in 3 hours. The rabbits escaped into the wild, and the wild population grew and grew. Number 4. By 1884, the rabbits had reached every corner of Australia and were destroying the nature environment. They ate the grass and plants and even killed large trees. They competed with the sheep for grass and they destroyed crops and farms. Number 5. The government decided to stop the rabbits destroying the environment. In 1907, they finished building a 2,000-mile-long fence to stop them entering the farming in the southwest. In 1950, a disease called myxomatosis was introduced and millions of rabbits died. By 1997, they became resistant to the myxomatosis and the population increased to 300 million. Now the rabbit population is being controlled with a new disease and native plants and animals are slowly recovering. Some people are concerned because the new disease may harm native species such as cows and the short-tailed bat. Number 6. This report has described how one man and 24 rabbits upset the balance of nature and permanently changed the environment of Australia. I think that we should all be very careful not to upset the delicate balance of nature. Learning strategy reading. What is the topic sentence of each paragraph? Remember, a topic sentence tells us the main idea of the paragraph. All other sentences add detail and develop the main idea. Exercise number 3. The ITC Zoo Watch. Read the following text about zoos. Answer the question in your group and then write them in your exercise books. Let's read the text. Do you know how important zoos are? It's true that zoos are places where humans go to see a variety of animals and be entertained. However, I believe that a modern zoo does more than that now. It's involved in education, conservation, and research. Zoos play an important role in the conservation of species under threat from human activity. They have saved many animals from extinction because of their breeding programs. The urban oryx was bred successfully in captivity and has been reintroduced into Saudi Arabia and Oman. Many zoos in Europe work together to help save the Przewalski horse, which was the ancestor of all domestic horses and became extinct in Mongolia and China. These horses have now been introduced back into the wild. As a final example, by the 1980s, only 28 of the California condors, the biggest American bird, were left in the wild because of hunting and use of pesticides by humans. In the last few years, 60 of these birds have been born at Los Angeles zoos and have been freed into protected areas. I think that most modern zoos believe their main aim is to educate the public as well, providing facilities so visitors can enjoy themselves. Education in zoos is not just to teach us about animals, but also to teach us about the nature world and how we affect it. Zoos offer guided tours, workshops, and other activities to help people find out more about animals and their environment. Finally, scientists spend a lot of time looking at animals to find out more about them and how we can help them. This is called research. This research is only possible while the animals are kept in a safe environment such as zoo. Now, let's read these questions and answer them. Number 1. Which 3 animals are mentioned in the text? The 3 animals are mentioned in the text are oryx, Przewalski horse, and California condors. Number 2. How many species will become extinct without help from humans? Between 2,000 and 6,000 animals. Number 3. Write down 4 things that modern zoos do. Zoos take part in conservation, education, research, and entertainment. Number 4. Write down a sentence from the text that is a fact. The Arabian oryx was bred successfully and has been reintroduced into Saudi Arabia and Oman. In the last few years, 60 birds were born in the Los Angeles zoos and have been freed into protected areas. The zoos have saved many animals from extinction. Number 5. Write down a sentence that shows what the writer thinks about zoos. However, I believe a modern zoo does more than that. I think that most modern zoos believe that their main aim is to educate the public, as well as providing facilities so visitors can enjoy themselves. So, if we visit zoos, we will be able to help them save many species of animals. Zoos gives animals with no chance a last chance. Number 6. Why is education in zoos important? Zoos education is about animals, the natural world, and our place in it. Number 7. Who can decide if animals survive? Humans can decide if animals survive. Exercise number 4. Who is it? Listen to the tape and identify the animals. Listen carefully. Number 1. Well, of course, we were extinct in the wild in 1972 because people used to hunt us. So I suppose it's good being here because we are protected and we feel quite safe. I've heard from my friends that the Jeddah Al-Harasis is another great place to stay. So I'm thinking of asking for a transfer. I think I would really like more space to run around. Yes, space with grass and trees and things to find and eat. You know, the food here can get really boring. The same thing day after day. I have lots of friends and relatives here, so it never gets lonely, but I can feel very crowded sometimes. There would be a lot more space. That's it, really. The answer is picture number 1, oryx. Now listen to the second animal. You don't need me to say anything. Just look at this place. It's empty. No one is interested in us. The only people who come and see us are small boys who keep tapping on the glass and make us go crazy. Most visitors walk past our cages because we are ugly. We don't have fur or hair like all those mammals out there. It's the same with the zookeepers. They don't clean our cages very often. The cages are too small and boring. Yes, really boring. A few rocks would be nice, you know. Something to hide under. Sleep even. Life's so boring here. The answer is picture number 3, scorpion. Now listen to the third animal. Well, it's nice getting food every day. When I was in the wild, it was getting very difficult finding enough food to eat. There is not much bamboo left in China nowadays. I was often very hungry, but I'm never hungry now. Also, I feel very safe here. I didn't feel safe when I was in the wild. I was always scared because I thought the hunters were going to kill me. I'm easy for hunters to see, you know. I'm big, slow, and black and white. Yes, I'm safe here and I get lots of food, but I really don't like being watched. People like me, and they are always looking at me, and I've got no place to hide. Watching. I'm very shy, you know, and I really don't like all of those noisy, staring people. The answer is picture number 4, panda. Now, let's move to the fourth animal. I have to say I never get wet when it rains because there is an enormous roof over my head, and that's great. There is a really nice place to sleep and rest too. Yes, it is dry and clean and all that, but I never see the sun or the clouds. I really miss the sun and wind and the feeling of a space when there is a sky all around. I get food every day. That's true. Yes, lots of food. But it's horrible, disgusting food because it isn't fresh. I want live meat, not these dead bits of animal that the zookeepers throw in my cage. I want to hunt, to plan the attack with my friends, to chase, to run, to catch my prey and win my own food. I want to live with other animals and hunt them. I wasn't made to sit around a cage by myself. It's boring, lonely, and it's unhealthy. Look, my fur is falling out, and my muscles are weak and useless now. The answer is picture number 2, lion. Exercise number 1. Look and think. Think about these questions while you look at pictures of Zoo A and Zoo B. Open your class book on pages 14 and 15. You will find Zoo A in page 14 and Zoo B in page 15. Before we answer the questions, let's read some information about each zoo. Zoo A. Number 1. The tigers are in a small cage, but they look healthy. Number 2. The monkeys have lots of trees to climb, but you can't always see them. Number 3. The tickets are really expensive, but you can spend all day there. Now, let's move to Zoo B. Children can play and climb trees in the playground. You can eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the restaurant. The birds can fly around the enormous aviary. The animals live in big enclosures with the trees and lots of space. Children can touch and feed farm animals in the children's zoo. You can watch shows and displays in the amphitheater. The cafe sells ice cream and sandwiches all day. You can buy toys, t-shirts, and postcards at the gift shop. You can buy your tickets at the ticket office next to the entrance. Now, let's go back page 14 and answer the questions. Number 1. Which zoo are the animals happier in and why? Zoo B, because animals live in big enclosures with the trees and lots of space. Number 2. Which zoo looks more interesting and why? Zoo B looks more interesting because you can watch shows and displays in the amphitheater. Number 3. Which zoo has more facilities for the visitors? Zoo B has more facilities for the visitors. Number 4. Which zoo would you like to visit and why? I would visit Zoo B because I can buy toys, t-shirts, and postcards at the gift shop. What about you? Now let's move to learning strategy. Reading. When you are reading, what do you do when you don't know a word? Which of these things do you do? Guess? Read it again? Keep reading? Look at the letters in the word? Ask a friend? Use the word store or dictionary page? Write the word down? Decide if the word is a noun, verb, or adjective. Exercise number 1. What do people think about zoos? Read the opinions of some ITC members and decide what they think. Write your answers in your exercise book. Let's read these opinions about zoos and divide it into 3 groups. Group A, people who like zoos. Group B, people who don't like zoos. Group C, people who have a balanced view about zoos. Now let's read an answer. Number 1, I'm not sure. I like good zoos, but I don't like bad zoos. Number 1 belongs to Group C. Number 2, the elephants looked really bored because they were in a small, concerned box. Number 2 belongs to Group B. Number 3, It's because of zoos that a lot of endangered animals can now live in the wild. Number 3 belongs to Group A. Number 4. I think zoos are important for entertainment and research, but wildlife sanctuaries and animals reserves are better ways to conserve animals. Number 4 belongs to Group C. Number 5. I'm against zoos because animals should be free to live in the wild. Number 5 belongs to Group B. Number 6. Zoos are cruel because they are just small, smelly parks with a few tiny boxes for animals. Number 6 belongs to Group B. Number 7. If we want to keep animals in the wild, we need zoos where zoologists can observe them closely and learn about them. Number 7 belongs to Group A. Number 8. I think that zoos play an important part in animals' conservation around the world. Number 8 belongs to Group A. Number 9. It's true that some zoos are too small and the animals are not looked after very well, but most zoos are changing now. Number 9 belongs to Group C. Now, let's read these two texts of two students' opinion about zoos. I think zoos are very important because they protect endangered species. I visited the Arabian Wildlife Center in Sharjah, and it was really good because you can see all the animals living in Arabia. The center breeds endangered animals and releases them back into the wild. It was quite expensive to visit, but I was happy to pay because they use the money for this very important work. I think zoos are important because they help to conserve endangered species. Now, let's read the second text. I'm not very interested in visiting zoos to see animals, but I do like zoos that have big playgrounds and plenty of places to get snacks. I think some zoos are too big and boring. Big zoos are too tiring to walk around. They should have little trains or bicycles for visitors. I went to a zoo once and it had an amazing show, and I learned quite a lot about food webs and how things are connected in the wild. I think zoos should have lots of different activities so there is always something for people to do. Let's move now to the third text. I hate zoos and I think they are cruel. I went to a zoo where the lion was in a tiny cage and I was very unhappy. It just walked backwards and forwards all day. It made me feel really sad watching it. It wasn't natural. No animals should be kept in a cage. Some sanctuaries and wildlife parks are all right because the animals can walk around free and even hunt each other. If an animal is kept in a natural environment, it will be happy. I think putting animals in zoos for entertainment is wrong. Now let's move to the last text. I think that zoos are very important because people can go and look at animals they don't usually see. I saw a Siberian tiger at a zoo and it was fantastic. I thought it was the most beautiful creature in the world. I value animals more now because I can see them in zoos. The zookeeper gave a very useful talk about why tigers are endangered, and I really learned a lot. I think zoos are important because they are educational. After reading all these texts, what do you think about zoos? Write a paragraph about what you think about zoos. Exercise number 3. What does he ask? The words in these sentences have got mixed up. Write them correctly on page 17 of your skills book. Let's see the answers. Number 1. Why did you decide to be a zookeeper? Number 2. How long have you been a zookeeper? Number 3. What changes have you seen? Number 4. What do you like most about your job? Exercise number 4. Talk about what you used to do. Work in pairs. One person points to a verb, and the other person must use the verb in a sentence with used to and but. Write down the best sentences in your exercise book. Let's read this example. Let's choose the verb collect. I used to collect stamps, but now I collect coins. Exercise number 1. Look and decide. Help the judge to award the prize. Look at the information and decide which animal get the medals. Then write sentences to explain which animal gets a bronze, silver, and gold medals. Use because to give reasons and use comparative and superlative in your writing. For example, the polar bear gets a bronze medal because it's lighter than an elephant and a blue whale. Which animal gets the bronze medal for tail length? The red kangaroo gets the bronze medal because his tail is longer than the spider monkey tail. Which animal gets the gold medal for being the most endangered? The Javan rhino gets the gold medal because it's the most endangered. Exercise number 2. Sharjah Zoo. Look at this web page showing information about Sharjah Zoo. Read it and decide if these statements below are true or false. Sharjah Zoo, also known as the Arabian Wildlife Center, houses over 100 species. It opened in September 1999, and it's the only zoo in Arabia which exhibits all of the animals naturally living in the Arabian Peninsula. It's a good place for visitors to learn about the animals and plant species which are endangered in Arabia. Make sure you watch the video just inside the main entrance before you go into the display areas. Then, the tour takes you through the rabbit, fish, and insects house, where poisonous snakes, chameleons, monitor, lizards, scorpions, and camel spiders are exhibited. Next, visit the bird aviary. It's set in wadi and desert environment and is home to several songbirds, flamingos, and the hoppara bustard. Make sure you look out for the rock hyrax warming itself in the sun. These tailless brown animals, the size of a rabbit, have 3 toes on each foot and are the closest living relatives to the elephant. Inside the aviary, there is a cave with a tank containing blind cave fish from Oman. These fish are born with eyes, but they do not develop because of their dark habitat. Next to the aviary, the smaller cats such as the caracal lynx, wildcat, and sand cat are housed. Finally, the tour takes you into the nocturnal house where night has been turned into day. A large variety of mammals are here, including 3 species of foxes, porcupines, hedgehogs, and 12 species of rodent. Information is provided throughout the center on display panels and on tabbed recordings. The center is open to visitors at the following times: Wednesday and public holidays from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. only. Ticket counters close at 5:30 p.m. and it's closed on Mondays. Now, let's read the statements and decide if it's true or false. Number 1. There are two zoos, Sharjah Zoo and the Arabian Wildlife Center. False. Number 2. At the end of the tour, you can see a video. False. Number 3. There are elephants at Sharjah Zoo. False. Number 4. The cave fish are inside the aviary. True. Number 5. The nocturnal house is open at night. False. Number 6. I can buy a ticket at 10 a.m. on Sunday. True. Number 7. I can buy a ticket at 6 p.m. on Thursday. False. Exercise number 3. Plan your argument. In your group, plan your argument in your exercise book. Use the words below to help you. Let's read the words. The most endangered, should stay, protected, smallest, should leave. The most beautiful, boring, rare, but, because, exciting. Exercise number 1. Making a difference. Look at all these members talking about wildlife. Let's read the first one. I'm a member of Greenpeace. This is an international organization which campaigns to protect the environment. It has volunteers who work on boat called Rainbow Warrior to save the ocean, environment, and animals. I filled in the application form on the website and paid a subscription fee. I receive a magazine every month, and I can also buy t-shirts and gifts. It's a charity, so all of the money goes to the organization. Nobody is getting rich from my money. Now let's read the second one. I joined the World Wildlife Fund. I filled in an application form on the web. It was easy. I didn't have to pay anything. The WWF is an international organization which protects the world's wildlife and environment. It started in 1961 and it has worked on projects in 157 different countries. I'm really interested in climate change and overfishing, and the WWF has got lots of information on their website. And they sent me fact sheets and news about important conservation issues. Now let's read the third one. I'm interested in whales and dolphins, and I'm a volunteer for Whales Coast Oman. They collect information on whales and dolphins, rescue them when they are caught in fishing nets, and develop educational materials. I make a report on their website when I see a dolphin or whales. You can buy t-shirts, posters, and wheel covers from them, and the money is used to pay for research they do. I feel that I'm doing something positive to help conserve whales and dolphins in our seas. Now let's move to the next text. I joined Life Watch. This is an organization run by London Zoo, and if you're a member, you get into the zoo for half price. I help the zoo look after the animals by adopting an animal. I have adopted a penguin, and every month I pay some money, and it helps the zoo feed it and look after it. I have my name written outside the penguin pool, and I feel very proud to help them conserve animals. Now, let's move to the last one. I joined the RSPB, which stands for the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. It's the largest conservation charity in Europe with over 1 million members. The RSPB protects wild birds and the environment. It buys land which is kept as nature reserves, and it works with the government, farmers, and industry to protect bird habitats. I belong to the Wildlife Explorers, which is for members who are under 18 years old. I paid a membership fee to join, and in return I get a magazine every 2 months and a free entry into bird reserves in the UK. I really feel I'm helping to protect birds. After reading these texts about all of these members, on how each one of them is helping the environment, have you ever done something similar to this? We have reached to the end of our video. Thank you for listening and watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.